Hi, Icky Dad here. I finally bought a minivan and convinced my wife to get past her block that this was the last stand of her identity as not a mom. I said, we'd try to get a used red one, so we'd be at least a cool minivan. We're going to call it Big Red, and we're all very excited. I want one for the versatility. We have two kids. And speaking of kids, yes, my daughter's like, I need a wipe. Someday you'll wipe your own butt. But Mama's on homeschooling, so maybe she'll get it. We have grandparents too. So I bought on Carvana. My friend bought on Carvana a PHEV Mitsubishi Outlander. Well, electric in town, but we can't afford really to go up to like 35,000 yet, or ever really with our income. And Carvana was so cool to him that I tried it, and it's coming Tuesday, June 2nd. So if you don't know about Carvana, it's a website that reminds me of like Amazon for buying a car. No salespeople, no haggling, touchless delivery on a special Carvana pickup truck or a bizarre vending machines that bring the car down from a building. Um, Financing, registration, all that stuff is done for you. The documents, when I actually went to buy it after 2 or 3 months of research, addictive research like real estate or sailboats or RVs or objects, and YouTube videos and consumer reports and cars.com and all kinds of stuff. The actual process of buying on Carvana.com was just amazing. Like 30 minutes to sign the documents and turn in my license digitally and all this easy stuff. I didn't want to go to a dealer and be sold. I don't think Carvana is for everybody. And I should say, when the quarantine started, I bought a little Carvana stock because I thought, who's going to go to dealerships? And it has gone up. So I have that vested interest, but I am not sponsored or paid at all by Carvana. In fact, I'm going to get some codes that'll give people a $500 discount that my friend gave me. I don't know if Carvana has the best prices, but they seemed pretty competitive. And for the simplicity of the experience and having it just dropped off, oh, and then they pick up my trade in on that same flatbed that brings the car. And then I'm going to drive it with the person or without. They let us, let you drive it. You can then put your deposit down and then take it and have 7 days to return it, no cost, and they pick it up. I wonder what happens to your trade-in. That's probably gone. So our 2009 Forester, great in Vermont, but we're in town, and I wasn't driving up into the mountains to the college I used to work at anymore. So we didn't need four-wheel drive all year. I kind of call the Foresters like a hippie Hummer. Like Hummers are terrible if you're on the liberal progressive tree hugger spectrum, but a Subaru's okay, even though it gets the same mileage as the car I bought, the minivan, which I will tell you the model soon. This van gets the same gas mileage as a Subaru, at least the '09. They're getting better. But why do you need four-wheel drive when 95% of your time is driving around not needing it? If you live on a dirt road or in a super snowy place, or just can afford to have a great time with high clearance and in the snow, I love Subarus. But our '09 was the first year of a big refresh, and by 104,000 miles, the dealer said it needed $5,000 worth of work, and it was using oil, which I knew, and I could hear the bearings going. The caliper was stuck, the rotors, and even if the dealer's patting it, I knew the head gasket may need work. I think it could have gone to 200,000 miles, but it's worth like 3 to 5,000 trade-in, Carvana says. They gave me a quote of 5,000, but we'll see. I'd be surprised. It's a little more ragged. The kids have, marked it up, but we can clean it. And so I took this opportunity to get a minivan, which I've really wanted, because it's kind of like a truck if you take all the seats out. And I love to, you know, I'm a Swiss Army knife guy. Like, I like to carry things um, that make me prepared to do stuff. It's got a good towing weight, um, and it holds its value, I think, a little better than the other cars I was looking at, which was the Mitsubishi Outlander with the third row. 6 people is great. Kids in the third row, but for about the same price, I could get the Sienna. Oh, that's what I got. A 2015 Salsa Red Toyota Sienna. It's like 60 something thousand miles, about 17,000. My wife was like, 200 a month, don't go over that. Uh, the only thing down is going to be, I think, 500 from us and the trade-in. So I think the ending cost is 13. We went with the Toyota LE trim because it has 8 seats, so the second row can be a bench or not, and it can stow the middle part. This was because I figured if we're going to have a big old van, why not be able to seat 8 people instead of 7 for a little bit more money? Now in 2016, there was the old transmission 6-speed. In 2017, they went to an 8-speed for a little more mileage. Again, I think a little less reliability, minor bumps and rattles, and it's refreshier. So 2018 seems more solid. And eventually, I think they're going to have a plug-in hybrid like Toyota is doing versus all electric pretty soon in the van, but I'm not sure. Maybe in 2 or 3 years we can buy one off a lease. I'm not sure. We're really only going to get cars that are 3 years old. It just makes more financial sense. So I had some other things to talk about, and I'm going to show going and picking up this car. I had to go about 40 miles south because we're in Vermont, and they don't quite deliver cheaply and take a trade-in that far from one of their Connecticut bases. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, so Carvana lets you look at the Carfax report, which has the repair records, which is all free. They do have a 150-point inspection where you can look like if they replace tires. Now, I did want a 2016 red Sienna because the 2015 was a somewhat refresh for sound insulation and things like that. Slightly less reliability on Consumer Reports than the 2016, but I couldn't keep researching, and I think it's going to be okay. I think any downsides of Carvana, which is they seem to get a lot of rental cars, not too many single owner cars, which I wish you could search for single owner car, but you can see it in the details. I think they save money without having any salespeople, dealerships, or facilities other than those vending machines. And I think it makes sense for this day and age. Like, I don't want to go to the DMV. If you can send me the plates and do the financing or not, and do all of that, I don't want anyone selling me anything because I can research and sell myself on YouTube. I was also looking at, of course, the Honda Odyssey and the Kia Sedona in the minivan category, and the Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid, which was way out of my price range. Kia Sedonas were a little less expensive, and I think they might hold their value a little less. I also looked at the Honda Pilot, which was as expensive and not as big. I looked at the Toyota Highlander. Again, kind of a bigger truck body, but great car. Rather have a van, I think. Doesn't necessarily seem like anyone is overall better, but they have little differences, like the way the seats slide, and I think one has a vacuum cleaner. We aren't a bells and whistle type of family. We don't even mind having to plug our phones in a mini jack. We don't need a sunroof. I just want a good engine and a good body and comfortable seats and safety ratings. Sienna makes an all-wheel drive version that so far other minivans don't have. But I've read that it's not that much better than front-wheel drive. It's not like a Subaru all-wheel drive that's just fantastic. Those are little tanks in the snow or dirt. But you know, all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive doesn't help you stop quicker. Front-wheel drive with snow tires, I think is going to be okay for a town living in southern Vermont. So I'm hoping to keep this van at least till I can look at some used plug-in hybrids. So when we go all around town, we're getting really good mileage. So it's very exciting. It really helped in COVID to obsessively research on Carvana and see who had a pending purchase, and then who, you know, you can reserve a car, and then the reserve car comes up, and you have like a favorite list, and you know, it's exciting. And now I have to stop. I have to stop. If I find another car like a 2016 that appears, and I'll have earth-shaking, you know, fear and doubt. So I'm stopping, and I'll transfer over to some other obsession, or the products I get to review. I'll just wait for those. I love reviewing products. But I'm not going to go on Carvana. I'm just not. I'm cold turkey. It's over. And if you like dealerships or Craigslist, go for it. But I think dealerships are following with this virtual buying, and Carvana started years ago, so they have a real up. I would say with Mr. Money Mustache, you know, if you're into cars, as you people know who are really into cars and can fix them just a little, buying on Craigslist $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000 cars, fixing them up a little, driving them for a while, and selling them, you can literally. There's a Mr. Money Mustache article on my friend who drives cars for free, or gets all his cars for free, because you know he kind of flips them. I could have done that maybe in my 20s briefly, but not now with kids. So I'll post a video when we pick this thing up, or it's delivered to the parking lot at my friend's work down 30 miles south. And if you could, click that like button below, subscribe, give me any feedback. I'd love to hear from you, and there'll be some links down in the description. All right. Stay mobile out there.